Hey everyone, it is Dani and welcome to this update this morning. I hope you're doing fantastic, and we're going to be taking a look at what is happening across the Atlantic as well as the systems over in the Eastern Pacific. And so let's go on to the satellite imagery, and here we can see that there is the remnants of Philippe out there, and also some activity across the main development region, some of which is in association with the tropical waves out there, and another one is in the Caribbean. So let's head further into the basin, and we can see here that there is some activity in some areas, especially over in Mexico. A lot of shower and thunderstorm activity, likely even some cases of flooding for some areas because of all that heavy rainfall. And then in some other areas across northern South America, and even in the vicinity of Cuba and Hispaniola, and down in portions of the Windward Islands, there's a bit of activity as well. There was some rainfall across Grenada earlier, maybe some more isolated showers moving into parts of the Grenadines, and even for Trinidad and Tobago. You can let me know what's happening for your area this morning. And in the vicinity of the ABC Islands near Bonaire, there's that area of deep convection, lots of showers and thunderstorms. So there's going to be that chance of some rainfall activity as we head through today. Hopefully that is going to happen. I know you guys have been longing for the rainfall and enjoying what has happened thus far in terms of rainfall activity. So hopefully that trend continues through today. As we take a look at this rainfall map here coming from Euro, it gets pretty colorful over in parts of Central America, and even down in Colombia we see some of those purple shadings. So as this becomes more colorful, a lot more rainfall is expected. As I said, for parts of Central America going to Northern and South America, particularly for Colombia and Venezuela, there could be a lot of heavy rainfall, potentially some heavy downpours across the ABC Islands as well. Going to the Lesser Antilles, much is not expected, and there is some dry air in the area, so that is going to kind of help to stabilize the environment, limiting the shower activity. Similar story as we head up to the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, much not expected. But then as for Hispaniola, and even going to Jamaica eventually, especially as we head into tomorrow and into Monday, the tropical wave in the area is going to be helping to enhance the rainfall activity. So there could be periods of very heavy rainfall, and that could trigger flooding. So that is going to be something to be on the lookout for. And remember, if there's any major flooding, please do not attempt to cross flooded roadways or bridges. Do not take any unnecessary risks. And then as we head up into Cuba, we can see that there could be some rainfall activity through today. Same story as we head to the Bahamas, mostly the southern Bahamas and near the Turks and Caicos Islands. But for the Cayman Islands, much is not anticipated as we're going to be heading throughout today. Now let's go ahead and take a look across the main development region, and there we've got our disturbance. So a 70% chance of development is going to be moving westward for the short term, but then that turn up to the west-northwest and eventually the northwest is expected. There has been that trend of the system moving out to sea. Models have not been showing that it will continue to the west and potentially head to the Caribbean, so that is not something expected. The reason this won't be steered to the west is because of the disruption in that high pressure system. So there are a lot of low pressures here and there across the Atlantic, a lot of these frontal systems, and as a result of not having that high pressure, there's not going to be that steering factor for whenever this tries to develop into a tropical cyclone. So it is going to take the opportunity to make its way out up to the north. Now we want to head over into the Pacific, where we've got our two systems. We've got Invest 99E and Tropical Storm Lydia, which has weakened a bit. So as we look at the satellite imagery, we can see that it is looking pretty messy over here. So the disturbance is just within that area, and then there's Lydia, and Lydia is a shared tropical storm right now. So that wind shear has been taking its toll and is the reason for the system weakening a bit. So it didn't manage to make its way to hurricane status last night, but it rather weakened a bit. So current sustained winds 65 miles per hour, and it is moving westward at 5 miles per hour. So it's slowing down as it gets ready to make that curve to the northeast, and then eventually, as we're going to be heading into next week, it is likely to make landfall in Mexico. So it's going to be bringing a lot of heavy rainfall, which is likely to trigger flooding, and there is actually a lot of uncertainty down the road with these systems. So we definitely have to wait and see what's going to be happening. Let's see the trend over the coming days. And by the way, as we head to the latter of next week, once the system makes landfall, it is going to be weakening because it will be cut off from its source of fuel and energy, and the circulation will be disrupted by the terrain of Mexico. So this is a relief map showing the different heights. So as we head to those shades of browns, that is indicating those that higher terrain. So we can see here that across the majority of central Mexico, the terrain is much higher, and there are a lot of variations, so there will likely be the disruption in the circulation of the system. So all of these factors will contribute to Lydia dissipating quickly as it makes its way in, but the mountainous terrain, it can actually help to induce a lot more rainfall activity and result in more flooding. So that is going to be a major concern, not only from Lydia but 99L. So this system here has a high 90% chance to develop, and as soon as tomorrow it could become a tropical depression, eventually a tropical storm. And then as it relates to what models are showing here, we can see that most models still expect that the system is going to be making its way into Mexico. So again, another rainfall threat looming for the country, and I hope that everyone is going to be safe there, and eventually we could see some watches and warnings being posted. If the system makes it to tropical cyclone status, there could be watches and warnings, so we definitely have to wait and see. But as it relates to Lydia's intensity, we can see here that most models agree that it will remain in tropical storm territory. It won't be managing to maintain hurricane status. Even if it does manage to become a hurricane again, that wind shear is taking its toll on the storm. So we'll definitely have to wait and see what is going to be happening with it over the course of the coming days. But that is what is expected as of right now, guys. And of course, I'm going to be keeping you posted on all that is happening across the both of these basins, really, because sometimes there's activity over in the Eastern Pacific. I mean, a lot of times these systems that form, they stay out to sea. They're not a problem for anyone, but in some cases they do affect portions of Central America. And even as we saw earlier this year, where weakened Hillary made its way into California and brought some rainfall, even some flood into the area. So sometimes these systems, they actually affect land areas, so it is important to pay attention to them, especially with the curve expected of both. And as I've been saying, the remnants of whatever is left of 99L could move into the Gulf of Mexico and try to materialize into something. There's no guarantee of that happening, and the National Hurricane Center has not highlighted the area to be watched for any development. But even an area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms will be enough to produce some flooding rains once all that activity makes its way onto land. But I will be tracking everything for you guys, and that is pretty much it for this video. So again, there's that tropical wave moving across the Caribbean, currently inducing some showers and thunderstorms in parts of Hispaniola. As we head into tomorrow and going into Monday, it could help to bring a rainfall increase for Jamaica, and in the case of a lot of heavy rainfall, there could be some flooding. So that is definitely going to be something to look out for. And of course, there's that disturbance off the African coast, that new tropical wave given a high chance to develop, but is likely to move out to sea. However, I will keep you guys posted as per usual, and that is pretty much it for this update. I hope you found it to be quite informative, but if you have any questions, please do leave them in the comments. I'll respond to you once I get the chance to do so. And remember to always be weatherwise.